Sabrina.
I'm Gina.
I'm Christina, and
we're the Gorgeous Geeks.
And today we are here to talk about Godzilla.
Godzilla, the new movie that came out on May 16th that really was kind of like I would say like the old one.
It was like an updated, old school version of Godzilla. I really liked it.
Yeah, there were some moments I was just like, I have to say that I thought it was like, okay, come on, can we get to this next part? I didn't have a moment like that. I had a couple moments like that.
It was good, but I was starting to get frustrated, and at one point I just leaned back in my chair. I was like, come on, because every time it looked like they were about to fight. They were fighting, but it was like, before the point of contact, it's back to Soldier Guy and his struggle to get home and
save the world.
And save. I think he was more concerned about getting home, and you know, I just was starting to get annoyed. I'm like, where's the monster fight? You know, I mean, I know it's classic.
But when they
Godzilla,
showed it,
I
showed it,
like
and it was classic Godzilla, though.
Right, they did. The thing that I liked about it,
too young to know about that.
Mommy didn't make you watch it?
Nah. She did. She just doesn't remember.
Oh. Well, see, Godzilla was very big for, especially like you remember how Mom used to always have us watch Godzilla on Saturdays while she was doing her hair. Like that was like the thing. Like she's doing your hair while watching Godzilla. So, this really was like the old school Godzillas.
Mommy said she wanted to see him squish some more people, though.
You know what? They did not ever used to show that, so she's lucky that it happened at all.
Now
we thought about her when it happened, like, oh, Mom, I hope she saw him get squished.
Yeah, that's our mom.
That's our mom.
It was starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's in a lot of things, who's been doing a lot of things since, Kick Butt. And he was also in Anna Karenina, and now he's going to be in the upcoming next Avengers movie as Quicksilver. And but he did. The only thing about it was I thought,
I know he's buff in the end of a superhero movie, but I'm like, man, he's pretty buff.
Yeah, he was pretty buff. He was pretty buff. But it was also, I was curious of what his accent was going to sound like too, because he's not American, and so I was like,
the first time you saw him in a movie, he wasn't not American.
What was the first time I saw him?
Kick butt.
No, okay, no. I mean, but I know he's not. I was curious, but in that movie he was playing a teenager. In this, he's playing a grown man with a wife and a kid.
He didn't sound that much different.
He didn't. Like that's the thing. I was curious of how he was going to sound, if he was going to change his accent at all. There's could be different. Michael Rosenbaum.
Right.
I mean, not Michael Rosenbaum. Michael Fassbender will tweak his accent every now and then, whatever he's doing. So I was just curious.
Well, not everybody can be.
I know Michael Fassbender or Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, that guy can do a million different accents in different type of ways. Like, for the longest time, I had no idea he was actually English. I mean, that guy's amazing. But I was just curious if he was going to do something different. I was a little disappointed that it was the same American accent. But that aside, I thought he did a really great job. So,
I like the interaction between him and his father, played by
Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I really did. I really did like their interaction. I thought his father's story at the beginning, when the plant and everything was blown up, was pretty compelling. But I can't say I was too tugging at the heartstrings for the rest of the movie for everybody else.
There were some moments I was scared for certain children's lives.
Well, I mean, there's like giant monsters roaming the streets. People are gonna die.
There were a couple moments I was like,
I just didn't feel.
It was so cold. There's giant monsters in the streets. People are going to die. Get over it. If there's children about to be.
It would be unrealistic and just not
okay.
Okay, so what did y'all think about the story with the twist on how they told the whole story with the monsters and how they.
I thought how they told the stories was very interesting, and even when like you always like in the Godzilla movies, there's like a scientist and a general and a doctor.
I didn't think it was any piece of art.
To me, that was
it's a
kind of
monster
like,
film. That's their
there's always somebody say like, no, we should do it this way instead of this way.
I didn't think it was that intelligent or anything, but as a Godzilla film, I took it for what it was worth.
Yeah. So only thing about it was I was because I had asked before I went to go see it, and I usually don't like spoilers before I go see a movie, but I had asked, but I knew it was going to be some a lot of fight scenes taking place in the United States. So I was asking some people, I was like, are they going to show Japan at all? Because it just seems wrong. If not,
they have to destroy Japan.
But you know what? But you know what? Even though the movie did, it's not really spoiling because you open up the movie's in Japan. You start off in Japan. It was funny because when they were in the States, it seemed like the camera zoomed in on every single Asian that they had a chance to zoom in on. And every time they did it, I just laughed. I was like, okay, like of course he's the main character's in the situation with this race, and of course they zoom in on this guy. Like, okay.
And even the part at the end, when he did his big heroic thing.
Go on.
Where he laid his eggs in Chinatown. You didn't notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also noticed when I saw it, I was like, okay, well, it's Chinatown, but okay, I get it. But I thought it was interesting. It's kind of like we're doing it in America, but let's throw as much Asian culture and stuff in there as possible. What are you? I don't care. Filipino, Korean, just get in the shot.
The movie started in the Philippines, actually.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It did. So I thought it was, pretty interesting. I thought the whole thing was kind of interesting. One thing about it is that, okay, I know there's a lot of people who really, really, really love those old Godzilla movies. But watching them, they've always been really cheesy to me. Mm-hmm. And I know people are going to crucify me for this because a lot of people didn't really like the 90 Godzilla version with Matthew Broderick. I love that movie. It's very entertaining. It's very entertaining and it's very funny.
I haven't seen it since maybe in the 2000s, but I don't know.
I
remember liking it.
I remember liking it as a kid. And I still even going back. No, it's not anything like the original Godzillas because Godzilla isn't fighting any other monsters. Which in the original films, that was the cool thing about Godzilla was him fighting the other monsters.
I don't see why it just on an evolutionary scale why it just makes sense for him to just come. I understand him wanting to go kill the other monsters, but for what? I understand doing that, but it's like
to restore balance.
Balance of what? So he can just go sleep in the ocean?
But those things would.
No, I understand him getting up and killing those things, but why is he just not doing anything else? He's just chilling in a secret lair, sipping Coke somewhere. What is Godzilla
Polar
doing?
bears do. No, I think what they're trying to say,
because in the beginning of it says that they feed off of radiation.
I understand.
So he probably has to go back to where he was because in order to feed and to live, because there's not enough radiation on the surface. So that's why he has to go back. And so when those other things came to the surface and they were going to create more, then that's why he had to come up and kill those things. But then he had to go back to where it was better for him to live.
Are they concerned about
it's segregation up in this piece? Godzilla's for segregation. He's for monsters down below and people up on top.
What's gonna happen to the planet if he absorbed all the radiation?
Apocalypse. It's a whole other ballgame.
And if they're so radioactive, how come they're not killing people just by being around?
I don't know.
Like I said, I just took it.
Okay, now we're about to get super deep.
Like I said, it's not like the story was that great or anything. It was just this monster movie. I liked how he killed the monster at the end, but I'm just like, dang, you're getting your butt whooped a little too long, and you won't even show it.
I liked it. Since we're doing spoilers, I loved how when Aaron Taylor Johnson was the only person who was like, hey guys, there's a bunch of eggs over here. We should blow them up, guys. Guys,
Eggs, monsters.
there's 3 out there. There's like 50 million in here. Like, can we, guys? And they're just gone. Like, come on, let's go. We gotta get this nuke out.
That little man monster was so much smaller than the queen. I'm like, that is weird. Kinky weird. Like, it's just too tiny compared to the queen.
I was just thinking, I like the whole. And then I was thinking, like, that's to be gross. I think I was like, when did the mating process happen? Because I don't even think they did they interact at all? Like, was she already pregnant when she came out? I thought they were meeting each other to mate, to lay the eggs.
She had the eggs up under her, but like sometimes, like the guy, some male species, the woman has the eggs.
Look, it looked like she did all the work by herself.
It really did. And he comes and he fertilizes. So they did meet up, but they did. So
all he did was give her one
the
egg.
monsters upset.
No, I'm saying
I don't understand when it happened.
I don't understand anatomy. I don't understand. It just he just gave her the thing.
I didn't want to see that.
And walked away.
I would clarify that right now. I didn't want to see it.
I didn't want to see monsters.
I just don't. It's like
I'm
oh my god,
it didn't happen.
It was like oh my gosh, they just met each other. Oh no, and then like she flew away.
She was like,
I was
thank
oh,
you,
okay.
minion. Back, peace out.
It's like, what were you needed for in the first place? Like,
And so you wanted to see them.
no, I don't see it. I don't understand.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
I just don't understand
Well, they did
his
show what happened, so you're upset because you didn't see what happened.
No, I'm saying I don't think it happened at all.
I'm saying the little thing had no purpose other than to annoy Godzilla from time to time.
Yeah. He was a bugaboo. Destiny's Child wrote a song, and then TLC backed him up with Scrubs. That's what that monster was.
Wow.
But I just still can't believe that nobody thought to hey guys, let's blow up these eggs. 'Cause we don't know when they're going to hatch. Because like 3 monsters, which is kind of what happened in the Matthew Broderick version, because it's like nobody cared the fact about the eggs except for like the main guy. Still, it's like the same. It was almost like the same thing. It was like nobody. It was like, hey, there's eggs, and then the main guy was like, oh my gosh, there's eggs.
Didn't Godzilla's arms look kind of tiny compared to the rest of his body?
like
he
a
was
T-Rex?
like super stacked, but I'm like, man, his arms. I'm like, how can he properly kill
Mom
him?
was not happy with how he looked. Like when they first showed him, she was like, because
It wasn't the guy in the suit?
no, she said because he looked like the face of it didn't look right. It looked too much like a gorilla.
What?
I honestly don't remember. Because every time I try to picture it, I'm just picturing the old Godzilla movies, to be honest. I think my brain is set. This is what Godzilla looks like. So
Well, she was not happy.
I don't even remember what the Matthew Broderick one
He
looks
looked
like.
like a monkey
he looked
in the face.
I don't know about the face. He was really stacked, but his arms were like. Maybe that's why he took so long killing them things. Because the evolution, Darwinism screwed him over or something. I don't know.
I'm sorry, since we're doing spoilers, I'm going back to the subway scene, the monorail scene with the little Japanese boy. I'm just like, that was the moment I was just like, of course.
Right.
Like, it has to be the little Jap. But I was scared that he was going to fall because there was no light humor throughout the entire movie.
No,
like, there was not a second, there was not a joke, there was not one, like, little light.
Like this was a serious
Yeah.
situation, and there was nothing to laugh
Dad
at.
didn't even see his happy birthday sign until like 30 years later.
Yeah, it was like seriously a serious movie. And so that's one thing, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I did miss about the Matthew Broderick movie because it was really funny. It was really funny. Like, people were complaining.
I
You know,
remember
the biggest
eggs
thing about that
blowing
movie
up.
that people
I
didn't
remember when
like.
he started the car with a knife. I remember them being in Godzilla's mouth and everybody screaming. That was
And
like,
Hank Azaria. Well, Hank Azaria is a hilarious guy. Anyways.
Right,
I mean,
right.
come on, it's this white guy doing the voice of a poo in The Simpsons. Like, it's amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he was so funny, and the whole time
He's like, we are in his mouth.
It was so hilarious.
And in that scene when he looked like he was gonna step on it, but he was in between his toes.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Ah!" And he was just screaming. Like that whole scene was just hilarious.
There's a lot of good moments in there. So there wasn't any humor in this one at all. But I can understand why they did it because it was a serious situation.
well, I mean, I have to watch it again. Was it badly written? Because I just don't think there was much story I mean, there was a story. It wasn't like.
I don't think
I mean, I don't know why people didn't like Godzilla. The first one with Matthew Broderick. I really don't, because I went back.
A lot of people were
watched
disappointed because they weren't seeing the movie. I believe the movie made money because I mean it was just like the summer movie. But I think a lot of people, and they had a cartoon spin-off and toys and all that stuff. So
and
people
like, Taco Bell was doing this whole thing.
Yeah,
This little Chihuahua would be on his tail one kid on Taco Bell. Like, you know,
they made money and all that other stuff. But I think people were really upset because they didn't have.
I don't remember people
they-
talking about it at the time. It's like this thing over time that someone decided that everyone had to hate it, and I didn't get that email. Like,
Right, because it's like, because everyone that talks trash about it now, we all liked it when we were kids. It was like people that's in their 30s hate it now. And it's just kind of like, well, we all liked it when it came out. When we were
At least that's
kids.
what I remember. But you know, I was.
People they said they didn't like the way Godzilla looked and
That was '98. I was young, 9.
I was in like the 7th or 8th grade, but
I was a sophomore.
yeah, it was a time ago. But
There's no more to say.
okay.
We started talking about another dinosaur.
Anyways, check out our website, thegorgeousgeeks.com. Look us up on Facebook. I'm Katrina.
I'm Gina. I'm Christina. And we're the Gorgeous Geeks.